I just wanted to thank everybody for coming out and get to see people. And it's hard to imagine we know every one of you guys. And this is a community that people will take their shirts off their backs. You can't find a better crowd than this. Very few exceptions. Everybody here is just top notch. That's hard to read through. Water, guys. I wanted to thank some of the outer towners that have made the trip. You guys can welcome them here today. Betsy, a dear friend of Michelle's for many, many years, and I got to know Betsy and her family. We've known a long time, and Ed. I haven't seen Ed in a long time. It was great to see him. We knew each other from Corvallis days, and him and Michelle go way back. And we got Patty is here somewhere. Patty Martin rode her bikes cross country with Michelle when they were 19 or so. And just great stories there. She has some college friends that would have loved to have been here. They had weekly Zoom calls for the last 3 years. Christine and Marcy and Deborah. They were quite a crew. And then her high school crew, Jennifer, was here at her wedding. She was a maid of honor, if you remember that, for those that were at the wedding. In her high school group. They were going to have a celebration for Michelle the next full moon on Red River Beach on Cape Cod. And there's going to be a bonfire and oyster sliders. And then there's a couple new friends that I wanted to throw out there. Well, and Steve Zook was also an old friend there. Mindy and Roberta, they were new friends to her that they met along the way, and they couldn't make it here, but they wish they could have. So, anyway, I think I can skip that one because it's been well covered. I wanted to give some soft examples. People talk about her intensity and her drive, and that never wavered right to the very end. But one thing I remember about her is when she worked for the Forest Service, they had these daily planners, and it had the list of all the tasks at hand for that day. And she had 6 or 8 or 12 of them, whatever. And then there was a column next to each one, whether it was priority A, B, or C, and every one of them was priority A. That's just the way she approached things. And then to understand her a little better, to know her childhood, she had a challenging childhood. It was great because of the friends that she had on Cape Cod. Can't thank them enough, and all the other friends along the way. So first off, she had food insecurities, and she was not going to pass that on to our family and our kids. And we have 5 very packed freezers to prove it, and pantries and cupboards full of stuff she's made, and it's phenomenal what she could do when she put her mind to it. She had some financial insecurities, and so she worked so hard to provide for her kids, and all of us. It was couldn't have done without it. And then to get totally honest, some abandonment issues. And she fought that by being the mother bear for her 2 kids. I pity the fool that would stand in their way. Yeah, it was something. Then some of the good qualities I want to add. We were going to one of Eliza's meets in Salem, and we were running late that day. I think we were going to go for a walk in the morning that turned into more of a hike. And we were getting to the park, and there's this homeless man digging through one of the garbage cans looking for food. And I kind of made a mental note of it, and we were walking together, and I passed him. And all of a sudden I noticed Michele wasn't there. And so I turned around and saw her digging through her purse, getting some energy bars, and she just handed them to the guy. And that really struck me, you know. She took her time to do that. Another one, we were on our way to see the kids, and we would often spend the night at West Cliff, the hotel in Hood River. And if you guys are familiar with it, there's beautiful grounds behind the hotel in the Columbia, and we'd always hang out there. And one day we were hanging out there, and this guy came up with a little toddler in his hand. I don't know, he was 18 months old or something. And we were talking to the guy, and this little kid just opened up his arms and leaned toward Michele. And the guy, you know, he handed this little kid to Michele, and she was bouncing him and talking to him like she did. And, you know, just had a nice little visit with the guy, and, you know, okay, here's your dad. And we went back to the room, and that was it. But then the next morning, we were in our car driving out the parking lot, and that same gentleman was there with his kid again. And, you know, I was driving, Michelle's passenger seat, and he was outside with a kid. And so we pulled over just to, you know, roll down the window, and, you know, Michele wanted to say goodbye to this little kid or whatever. And the kid did the same thing. And he leaned up, and this guy, not knowing us, handed this child through the car window. So, could have had a third child. But anyway, that was just something she was a magnet for in some of those situations. And as anybody that's married, you know that there's ups and downs in a marriage, and there was times where it felt like the downs were winning, but we stuck it out. And I think a lot of that has to do with like the stories that you guys have told about her, some of her great qualities. And we were on the same page all along when it came to parenting, and our vision for what we've been able to create, and we couldn't have done it without each other. We're so fortunate that way. And we have always loved having a good laugh, and that was true right to the very end. So I thank her for that. So I'm going to get all technology on you. I wrote a poem kind of early on, and I don't know why, but I never shared it with her. I think I should have had this pulled up before I did this. It's one of those things. I don't know why, but I wanted to share it with you guys because it kind of it gives hope, and it kind of I think it applies even after she's gone in some sense. So as I pass by the homes of people I've known, remembering each one individually as once being a cancer house, enveloped in quiet, adjusting to the reality that exists within its walls. A package of home-cooked meals, a card or flowers on the front porch, left there by friends who share in the fight. Some have made it, some have not. A sense of compassion fills the air around me. And now, as I pull up the curved driveway, I see the garden, the greenhouse, the studio, the mountains standing over us, the things that reflect your passion for life. I walk up to our house. A package awaits by the front door. Stepping inside, there is a quiet, though a battle rages between the woman I married, the mother of our children, the keeper of the garden, and the silent killer that is trying to gain the upper hand. We will win this day and the next. We will take this fight day by day and count the blessings of each one's past. We exist in this purgatory. It will be lifted by the love and support of family and friends. And someday, our home will no longer be seen as a cancer house. Couldn't have gone through this without you guys. All the talks with Leon on the fire and games of cribbage with Rusty and seeing you guys in the aisles of Safeway and on the streets. It just was never ending, and it's impossible to imagine what it would have been like without you. Anyway, so Michele is cancer-free now. And in a sense, it feels like I am, and Cody and Eliza, we're all cancer-free. And we're going to move on, okay? And yeah, screw cancer. Let's we're all cancer-free tonight. And let's let the party begin.
Love you, man.